In 2003, a series of strange deaths occurred throughout the United States, baffling police forces overall. The case was known to investigators as Case Number 304. The crime scenes at the victim's house all shared similar aspects. The corpses were found next to their computer, leading to investigators to believe that the suspect had murdered them all while they were distracted or moved their bodies onto the chairs. The victims all seemed to have died in the same manner, gashes all over their head, as if someone had slashed their face repeatedly with this sharp object. After identifying the corpses and searching the computers, the detectives found that all the victims shared similar qualities. They were all each very tech-savvy internet thieves, users who frequently shared copyrighted documents with other users on the internet. What they saw in their victims' rooms wasn't anything too unusual. Messy furniture, bags, bloodstains, nothing that they haven't dealt with before. What they found hidden on the victim's computer, however, was something much more frightening than anything they had ever seen. The computers of the victims were given by a team of cybercrime professionals, and all of them were signed Case 304. Little is known about the progress they made, for all the records of an investigation have been either lost or destroyed. What we do know is that after 3 weeks of non-stop investigation, the team marked the case as inconclusive. Shortly after ending the case, members of the team experienced symptoms of dyslexia, epilepsy, and narcolepsy. The 2 members have taken their own life during the investigation, and 3 more did afterwards. To date, nearly all the members of the team have been declared either dead or missing. The only remaining team member is Craig Brower, the digital forensic examiner who worked for the Portland Police Department. Brower is currently admitted at the Oregon Mental Health Center and has been diagnosed as mentally unstable. When the team last started searching the victims' computers, they found a folder that happened to be each of the victims' hard drive. The folder was titled Unknown. At first glance, all the contents of the folder seemed unimportant, but the team knew that this folder must have something to do with the murderers, for what it was stored on every single computer. The contents of the folder were simple. There was a text document with a video file and several other audio clips. Each team member was assigned to a specific file to search for clues. The following is a description of the files. There were 5 audio clips, first titled as numbers 1 to 4, and there were complications of odd string together with static, each about 30 seconds long. Within about 10 seconds at the end it was just a white noise. The sounds just played as they were distorted, reversed and very choppy. Distinct screams can be heard amongst the static, as well as random piano chords, a mumbled voice, and glass breaking. The investigators found nothing important of these files. They tried disorienting the audio any way they could, but at the end they found no clues. One member, however, was very persistent of the audio clips. The member assigned to file number 3, Stephen Knowlton, was a retired professor who had taught the computer science and programming classes at Stanford. He was very interested in file number 3, and he knew that there was something hidden within the audio. For days he listened to the clip over and over again during lunch. Fellow team members said that every day he seemed to get more and more imitated with that clip. They had tried to get Stephen to stop listening and get some work done, but he never acknowledged them. Knowlton had told his team members that they had been listening to the audio clip overnight while he slept, saying that there were voices hidden inside the audio sound clip, and in order to hear them, you have to listen to it constantly. No one believed him. After the first week, he started not only to listen to the clip while he slept, but throughout the day as well. File 3 was playing in his ears 24/7, and after about a week of the constant listening, Stephen started to act very strange, and one day news came to the team that he died during the night. After Steve's death, the rest of the team worked harder than ever uncovering the cases. They started to focus next on the video file. It was simply titled BehindYou.avi. The clip is roughly 25 seconds long, and seeing the clip appears to be a woman typing at her computer, filmed from behind. Nothing could be heard. Camera inches closer to the woman. The screen in front of her starts flashing black as and white as if it were a strobe, brainwashing her as if she stares into the lifeless monitor. As the camera is almost all the way to her hair, the video freezes. Suddenly the woman turns around and her face is covered in blood. A piercing scream is heard, blaring through the speakers. Her eyes are gone, black scratches and bruises covered her face and ears. She opens her mouth and she hears the reverse onto a loop. The video soon ends. As soon as the video was played into the group, there was silence. Everyone was mortified, not knowing what to think. Then out of nowhere, one member got out of his chair and started yelling loudly as he could. Words could not be made out, but if he was speaking in another language, this added to everyone's existing fear. The member, Alan Mercy, was scratching his eyes out on the floor, screaming in what seemed to be a demonic tone. No one ever tried to intervene. They were all just too stunned, and they just watched as Alan Mercy mutilated himself on the floor, yelling nonsensical phrases, while they watched as their friend was brainwashed into taking his own life, and on all of their faces, there was a smile. And then the police interviewed each of the remaining team member, and they all had the each same reply to what happened. I don't remember. It was throughout the interrogation video that the police had discovered that Stephen Knowlton actually died. It was after the first week that Steve started showing very odd behavior. He became very secluded, not talking to anyone during the day. He lived alone in the apartment, so no one knows what his life was like at home, or if anyone had tried to talk to him. He would either ignore them completely or shout angrily at them. One occasion, one team member tried to talk to Steve and asked him why he was acting so strange. Steve lunged at them and scratching his eyes and face. The team escorted Steve to his home, dragging him heavily. The whole team was shocked by the event, but even more frightened by the news what happened the next morning. Stephen Knowlton was found dead in his apartment. The corpse was sitting upright on his computer. He was covered in gashes and scars. Police dismisses the case as him taking his life, but the whole team knew that Steve's death was related to the previous murders. No one touched the audio files after that. No connection was even made with the audio clips and the video file. The text file was one of the files to be examined by the group. Later at that point, most of the members had quit the team due to mental illness. Only 4 members remained, and they were all terrified of what lay onto the text and image files. Craig Brower was one of the remaining 4, before opening up the text file titled Gone Text. When Brower popped it out, he eventually quit the team that day and saw the contents of Gone.text. Brower went home to his family, still experiencing faint signs of depression. His family members reported him being very angry in his returning days home and said he wanted to be alone most of the time. On October 17th, 2003, the 3 remaining members of the investigation team were all found dead in their office. The walls were riddled with blood, the computers were destroyed, and even their corpses were mangled on top of each other. The tips of their fingers had been worn all day, and their faces were covered in gashes. Still to this day, investigators still don't know the contents of the text, image, or audio file since the original investigation in 2003. Only 4 deaths have been affaired with the files. The torrents containing the file was apparently taken down from all major websites, but some traces still lay behind. Police have stopped trying to find the files erased from the internet. For now, they just hope they are long gone and forgotten. Well, that was case number 304, a creepypasta. My final thoughts on the story. It was a pretty interesting one. I gotta really say, I mean, the police team's procedures and conclusions, it's really gives us a lot of so many occasions and suspensions, disbeliefs are of all that. However, I would have expected the team of specialists and the police to force horse to know better and reach certain conclusions and to have more of a objective approach to this. But however, though, it just has some cliches and stuff here and there, and I could definitely say it honestly gives us, a little bit of, a conclusion as to what could have happened, although I'm not really too sure. This is kind of giving us a bunch of questions as what could have been the case or what could have happened. This is all making me wonder, to be honest. Even when looking at this story, I honestly kind of remember seeing how good this story is. Now, with that being the case, and with that being said, this one's definitely has seen a pretty good story within the, concept of it. I honestly still thought it was a really interesting story. Now, however, though, it does kind of gives me some questions as to what happened to these victims and who was like responsible for the murderers and stuff or whatever happened. It honestly gives us dumps a bunch of questions. So we're not really too sure what went on. But like I said, though, I can't really say what actually happened or something because I'm not really sure. I think this story is just giving us a bunch of questions as to what could have been the case. But like I said, we really don't know. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, I personally think it's a pretty good story, despite the fact that I wish it could have maybe go into more detail and explain better as to what went down with the cases and stuff. So, yeah, this story honestly gives me, it makes me wonder and stuff. But at the same time, though, I really wish they could have been maybe more explained. Like maybe a few years from now, someone discovers something like an origin behind it or something. At least then, that would have been more explainable. But it would definitely help out with the story a lot better. But that's just me. But I'm just gonna say now, it's still a pretty awesome story. The sentence structuring was good as well as the grammar, and I personally found it readable. I did spot maybe one or two grammatical errors in the story, but with that being said, I still thought it was a good story. I know this is like an older story, and it's still a pretty good one. But like I said, though, if there was more added to it and maybe more explanation or something, that would definitely have helped with the story a lot better. But may also make it more sense as to, why these murders of these people happened or what could be the cause of all that. So, I mean, I know it explains about where they were marked the same case and all, but it kind of makes me wonder about it too. So, was this like some sort of setup? It honestly makes me wonder about that. But I think that's what it is. I think these people who did die were being set up with the laptop, with the computers being put in and marked as the same case file or something. But that's just my theory. But like I said, yeah. Anyways, if the original author of this story, if you somehow manage to, come across this video, so yeah. I can't see who the original author of this story is, so I'll leave it as anonymous for now. If the author of the story manages to find this video and comments on it, let me know that he, she, or they, them wrote the story, I'll be sure to give the author proper credit. So until then, I will say right now that I will link the story in the description for any of you guys who want to check it out because they are feel free to. So anyways, with that being said and that being the case, yeah, like I said, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is just simply my own personal thoughts. I give this story a 10 out of 10. While I could say it's confusing at times, and it kind of, some of this stuff makes us wonder what actually went down, or how was this being the case or something all, but it's still a pretty interesting story in my eyes. I still thought it was good. So anyways, with that being said and that being the case, what did you guys personally think of this creepypasta? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.